हेलो, हिस्ट्री का टेस्ट करा? हाँ, क्या बैठो बैठो नहीं किया? क्यों? लाइट चेंज नहीं कर रहे थे? क्यों? अरे तो बुला लेते किसी को बाहर से। देखने से क्या होता है, करना था। मतलब इट वाज गुड इवनिंग, गुड आफ्टरनून यार। हाँ, so it was like testing yourself against BA students. Able to do? It was NCERT based, very simple questions. Very simple, हाँ? Okay, okay. अच्छा, वो नोट्स तो न्याय वाले नहीं, न्याय न्याय। सो आज हम क्या स्टार्ट करेंगे? योगा के कुछ क्वेश्चंस लिखे हैं घर जाके? मतलब अगर मैं नहीं लिखवाऊंगी तो नहीं लिखेंगे? इफ आई विल नॉट आस्क यू टू राइट अ क्वेश्चन, यू विल नॉट राइट? ओके, राइट क्वेश्चन। You will get only 7 minutes. टाइमर लगाओ। सात मिनट का। अभी नहीं, स्टार्ट नहीं, स्टार्ट मैं करूंगी। इसको यहाँ पे रखो। योग नहीं, योग नहीं, चित्त वृत्ति निरोध। चित्त वृत्ति निरोध is the ultimate aim of yoga philosophy. How can one, full stop, how can one achieve it? Your time starts now. टाइम खत्म होते ही ले लेना। लिखो। बैठो। Rule number 1, even if you have not revised, stop thinking about revision. Stop feeling guilty about revision. When you have a question at hand, you write. वॉर में जाते हैं तो अगर तुम्हें लकड़ी की तलवार दे दी मैंने, लोहे की नहीं दी, तो इसी बात पे क्रिप करते रहोगे या लड़ोगे? लड़ोगे ना? So when you have a question, you write. When you are in a war, you fight. Right? अपनी भाषा में लिखो। चित्तवृत्ति निरोध नहीं आता तो डीडीएलजे की कहानी लिखो। लिखो। पतंजलि का योग तो देखा है, आना कुछ भी पता है आपको, बट राइट, You don't sit and stare when you have a question. You get less than this in mains exam. क्या? क्यों? कोई बात नहीं, जितना जितना जैसा परफॉर्मेंस है, we should have our true performance, true evaluation or not. ठीक तो लिख रहे हो, लिखा क्यों नहीं? Only if you had revised. You were writing good. Good. ले लो अपनी अपनी कॉपीज लो. Nikita. Good. So you people realize the importance of revision. Even when you understand things and you can write, but you are not able to do it. Why? Just only because of revision. And why don't you learn it in the class? I repeat one philosophy many times. Once when I make structure, then I also repeat it. Then next class also I try to, give you a pre-glimpse of it. So learn it there and then. The 8 steps, are they difficult? Repeat after me. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. अब मन में 3 बार रिपीट करो. शुभ्रा. Proper structure, है ना? You need to create that. No need. ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, बस बस बस. इनकी कॉपीज लेना बंद करो, इतनी भारी भारी कॉपीज है. दे दो सब. हाँ, दे दो सब कुछ. Don't write with this ink. Whoever's copy is it? Akanksha. Don't write with this ink, है ना? Write with a darker ink. But good. है ना? You at least had a structure proper, huh? Shashank. Proper introduction at least, huh? अब आप देखो, आप ही के बैच के बच्चे हैं, किसी ने, सबको इक्वल टाइम मिला है, isn't it? There are people who have written proper introduction, Chit, Bhumis, Vrittis, 5. they have also started to write 8-fold steps. So 1.5 page they have written, and there are people who have just written introduction. So who will be able to complete their papers? Yours? You see, it's not just important just to write, you also have to write fast. See, your batchmates written full page in, well, you have to write full answer in 6 minutes, 6.8 minutes. But at least if you yourself consider yourself a mature, at least these are the people you are competing with. You people are slow. अरे ये मेरे रेड पेन की जरूरत है. देखो, even your copy, क्या नाम है बेटा? पिताजी का नाम विजेंद्र पांडे. अच्छा, ओके. क्या नाम था बेटा दोबारा? रोहित राय. So Rohit has written introduction, written the steps, and now he even wrote criticism. At least, so for if conclusion bhi likh dete, so it is kind of structurally the answer is complete. Who will get more marks? Who just wrote introduction and just started with Chitbhumis, or the one who at least made the structure, at least wrote 1 or 2 criticism and the conclusion? Who will get more marks? Exam, as an examiner, tell me, the one who has at least made the complete structure. So if you understand in between answer writing that time is less, I will not be able to write the complete thing, what do? ऑनलाइन बच्चों में से सिर्फ 1-2 का दिखा दो, है ना, बिकॉज सबने इनकम्प्लीट करा है, मुझे पता है. हाँ, यहीं पे दिखा दो. You understand? So in your mid course, you change your strategy. Okay. And revise क्यों नहीं किया? हॉलीडे था, नेशनल हॉलीडे. कमल शर्मा. Good. Satyam. Who is Satyam? Ah, good. Oh, you have the second page. Very good. I think you are the topper of this particular answer writing. See, within the same time frame, he has written full definition of yoga, explained what is Chitta Vritti Nirodh, explained what is the composition of Chit, then Chit Bhumis, 5 kinds of Chit Bhumis, 5 kinds of Vrittis with explanation, 5 Kaleshas, all the 8 steps. Then he talked about Samadhi, Sampragyata and Asampragyata. Of course, just one conclusion and criticism is missing. One line even. Well enough answer. For start. Good. बिना नाम की कैसे पहचानते हो अपनी किताबें? Priyanshu. Good. You need to improve your handwriting. Apart from that, good. ये कौन है? Moral values POSCO. नाम क्या बेटा? अंजलि मैम लिखा है इसमें. श्रेयांश. Pinky Dhakad. We have one more Dhakad here. David Dhakad. Sanjana. Your batchmates. She has even written criticism. आपसे टैग वापस लिया जाता है और इन्हें दिया जाता है. Good, good Sanjana, very good. और बहुत ही जोरदार टक्कर देते हुए पार्थ. Good. See? 2 pages full and all the steps have been written. If they can revise, why can't you? People who can write 2 pages and people who can write 1 pages. Harshit. जब कम आता हो तो राइटिंग बड़ी कर लेनी चाहिए. You can modulate your structure. If you know more, time is more. Fine, you write anyway. If time is less, you know more, write small. Put most content. If time is less and you know less, what do? Visual perception and visual appearance also create some illusions. And when a person is in speed, sometimes they are not even understanding that they are illusory, they are under illusion, and they can give you more marks. So if supposedly you have less space, more space, and you have less, you have less time, what do? Structure big diagrams. है ना? Kaleshas, make a big diagram. It fills up the space. Add details like this. It takes a full page. Chitabhumi. So you can fill it. If there is less space, don't make such diagrams. Put it like this. In proper format, in structuring, yes, but if you have time and you can write fast, then write small. Huh? You can modulate according to the requirement of that particular question and answer. This is answer writing. Nothing else. People who can modulate then and there according to the time and content. That is the only trick of answer writing. Not one strategy will work for all the questions, and not one pattern will work for all questions. If you know more, you change. If you know less, you change. If you have time left, then you beautify your paper. Underline karo, double line karo, black color se highlight. All these things you do. If your paper is remaining, will you do it beautification? You will finish it by making big diagrams, structure. At least give the structure to the examiner, even if you're not able to write the answer. Give something. Tell the examiner, I know the question and I know the parts. So that even if, examiner wants to give you 2 marks for that, or 3 marks, 4 marks, he's able to give. Structure के भी अलग से number होते हैं UPSC में. Structure has separate numbers. Articulation has all these attributes of answer writing has separate numbers. So yes, again, incomplete answer, but it is okay. किसका आंसर है? हर्षिता. Harshdeep, okay. Again, you people will have to finish. Good Harshdeep. Fine. Chalo, let us continue with Nyaya philosophy. So Nyaya philosophy was given by Rishi Gautam, also known as Rishi Akshapad. That is why Nyaya philosophy is also known as Akshapad philosophy. But that's not important. Names, etc. We will discuss sometimes. But the essence of Nyaya philosophy is logic and argumentation. Gautam Rishi, and specifically Nyaya as a philosophy, is a science of argumentation. We will not read that part. The logic part we don't read of Nyaya. We only read metaphysics and epistemology. But problem is that the real essence of Nyaya is found in that logic part, where Nyaya teaches a person how to argue, how to create arguments and demolish the arguments of others. So Nyaya gives various techniques. If you ever want to debate, if you ever want to argue with someone and win those arguments, you must read Nyaya logic, because they will tell you that before you can even start your argumentation, you must listen first and repeat what the other person has said, so that you don't miss or you don't misunderstand what the other person has said. And the other person cannot deny, I did not say that, because you have confirmed it with him. Further, they can never say that you have said, you heard it wrong. I was not saying this, I was saying that, because you have confirmed by yourself speaking that thing. So this is how, on solid basis, Nyaya has formed their logic and theory. Now, Nyaya philosophers were also concerned with that particular thing which all the philosophy of Indian's origin are concerned. That is suffering. They wanted to find the causes of suffering and remove them. And the removing of suffering is known as liberation. So ultimate aim of Nyaya philosophy is also liberation. Like earlier philosophies, except Charvak, all were having the ultimate aim of liberation. Similarly, Nyaya is also having the ultimate aim of liberation. Now, before they talk about metaphysics, they talk about epistemology. They say before we can know what is real, first we must know how can we know. First, we must know how can we know whether what we are considering as real, whether we are knowing it validly or invalidly, whether we are knowing it correctly or not. So first, the mechanism of knowing should be checked. Firstly, how you gather knowledge about reality and world should be checked. And only if we have established that we know things as they are, correspondence theory, if we think as they are, then we will start contemplating about reality. If we, अगर हमें पता चल जाए कि वो चीज है ही नहीं, if we understand that the thing we are trying to know is not there because our means were defective. Example, if there is a person who's having what do you say, jaundice, the color of the walls will be, he will see the walls as yellow, but are the walls yellow? No. This means if the means are defective, then the reality will be wrong, will be perceived or known wrong. Therefore, we must check what? Means of knowing. And for this, he tried to analyze Praman. Praman is what? One of the Praman is perception. What are the other Pramans? Comparison and non-apprehension. है ना? Very good, very good, very good. I am happy आप लोगों को इतनी भी याद है. बहुत बड़ी बात है. So, very good. So, this Nyaya school accepts 4 kinds of Praman: perception, inference, verbal testimony, and comparison. These four they have accepted. And now they will evaluate each one of them. Once they will start decoding or start analyzing the perception, they will see how can we perceive? How is the mechanism of our perception? What can be wrong in our perception? When is our knowledge wrong during perception and when is our knowledge right during perception? What are the various kinds of perception? Are only what we see, is it only that perception, or do we perceive in other ways also? So the whole perception as a praman will be evaluated by Nyaya. Second, inference. They will start analyzing and understanding inference. So earlier we had just read, this is what inference is. But now in Nyaya, we will study about why is inference valid? How is inference formed? What are the conditions to form vyapti? Can anybody form vyapti, or any sentence be called vyapti? No. What are the conditions? What criteria should a statement follow to be called a vyapti? How many kinds of vyapti are there? Are all the vyaptis similar, or there are different types of vyaptis? And if the vyapti is not correct, if we move to, or if we get wrong inferences, we can make wrong inferences, right? So if the inferences are wrong, what can be the reasons behind those wrong inferences? Hetvabhas. How we can lead to, or how we can get the wrong inferences. All these details about inference as a praman we will study here in Nyaya. Then verbal testimony. How, why verbal testimony should be accepted as valid knowledge. And apart from that, the analysis of verbal testimony as a praman. And later on, what is comparison according to Nyaya school? All the four ones we have understood. So this means all the four ways in which we can get knowledge about the world will be analyzed by them. This is their epistemology. Once they have established their epistemology, they will start talking about their metaphysics. Now, their metaphysics was not very impressive because they have put in a lot of things as categories which were not exactly, which we cannot consider them as reality. So it is like they classified, but the basis of their classification was not very attractive. Rather, the metaphysics of the allied system, that is Vaisheshika, was much more organized. And because these two systems are allied systems or parallel to sare the, but allied systems. Allied means cooperative, supplementary to each other. So they supplement, just as Sankhya Yoga are allied systems, parallel and allied systems. So Sankhya gave the metaphysics, Yoga gave the way to fulfill it. Okay, कैसे fulfill करोगे? उसने तरीका बता दी. The theory was given by Sankhya, practical way to achieve it was given by Yoga. Parallel systems or allied systems. Similarly, Nyaya and Vaisheshik are allied systems. So we study more of epistemology in Nyaya, and in Vaisheshika we study more of ontology. Even though the number of realities accepted by both of them are different, and even the praman accepted by both of them are different, yet there are very strong similarities between these two systems. That is why they are considered allied systems. In metaphysics, we will study about concept of soul, how or what is the concept of soul according to Nyaya. We will study about Jagat, we will study about concept of God, proofs of God also we will study, what are the various kinds of proofs of God they have given, and we will study about a little bit about atomism. Who discovered atom? वैशेषिका, ऋषि कनाद। ठीक है, अगली बार कोई पूछेगा आपसे, who discovered and wrote about atom? Maharishi Kanad. First, have conviction in your own and own traditions. Nobody will respect. We feel that all the international organizations should start respecting our old scriptures. We don't respect them. How can they? In China, or rather even in Germany, in Germany, people can study the whole course free of cost, graduation, post-graduation. But the condition is you must know German. Yes. In China, people who go to study abroad, like higher studies and all, they have to learn Chinese, and not just Chinese. If they go for a treatment, allopathic medicines are very hard to find. They are first treated with, in government hospitals, in their government hospitals, when they go, they are first treated with Chinese traditional medicines. G. And only if required, allopathic medicines are given. They have preserved their traditions and they respect it. But with us, लोग खुद ही आधे एलोपैथिक डॉक्टर बन गए हैं. आई नो, एक बार किसकी तबीयत खराब थी तो वो हमारी जो मतलब हाउस हेल्प है वो ही बता रही थी, एंटीबायोटिक ले लो दीदी. ठीक है, फाइन, ओके. So let us see what are the commonalities between Nyaya and Vaisheshik as a school. Come here. So in the notes we will read and we will discuss along the way. So Nyaya has given epistemology and Vaisheshika has given metaphysics. Nyaya and Vaisheshika are called allied systems. Allied systems. Both are Astic or orthodox, as they believe in the authority of Vedas. Both are theistic, as they believe in God. Both of them are realist or realistic. That is, both subject and object are real. Subject means consciousness and object means this world, material world is real. The world is plural, or plural means there are many realities. How many objects are there? Many. How many atoms are there? Many. How many consciousness are there? Many. ठीक है? Except asatkaryavad as causal theory. Remember when we were doing satkaryavad, we wrote the criticisms of Nyaya. So the philosophy of causality accepted by Nyaya Vaisheshik is asatkaryavad. Here only you may write, it is also known as arambhavad. Arambhavad. असत्कार्यवाद का क्या मतलब हुआ? What is the meaning? Effect does not pre-exist in the cause. लिख लो. Effect does not pre-exist in the cause. If effect is not existing in the cause, then it is a new beginning. Then you can write, effect is the new beginning. Therefore the name Arambhavad. Both accept the atomistic theory of creation. What is atomistic theory of creation? That the world is created by, made up of atoms. Atoms को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? अणु. And we know that Indian philosophy has also talked about Pramanu. What are Pramanu? Yes, within Anu. The smaller particles or smaller parts of it, like nucleus and others, are Pramanu. Then next, God is accepted only as efficient cause of the world. किसने और efficient cause ही accept किया है God को? You. We will at the last, what we will do now, when we will finish Indian philosophy and rather all the philosophies, before your mains and after prelims, we can take 2 or 3 days class in which we can discuss all the topics in a flow chart format or a chart format. We will take God. फिर चारवाक ने क्या कहा गॉड के बारे में, जैन ने क्या कहा, बुद्ध ने क्या कहा, योग ने, सांख्य ने, all. Soul, all. So we will take these concepts and finish all of them. So that there is, and this is one chart you should prepare. I'll get it prepared by my team also. But apart from that, it's very good for clarity. एक बार उठे बस ये चार्ट देख लिया, clarity. Okay. Consciousness and knowledge are accepted accidental qualities of soul. Underline this, very important part. What kind of conception of liberation is accepted? Negative conception. Means, what is negative conception of liberation? No pain and no pleasure. Bilkul, perfect. And now if consciousness is the accidental quality, even सांख्य योग ने पुरुष में तो कॉन्शियसनेस मानी थी, इन्होंने कॉन्शियसनेस को भी क्या कर दिया? Accidental. So this means soul is a substance in which not even consciousness is present naturally. Accidental quality. So, well, we will understand when we will do soul of Nyaya, but very important fact to remember. They both agree that life is full of suffering. ये हर किसी ने माना है ना? By any chance, you remember the first few classes we took? Common themes of Indian philosophy? Suffering. Except Charvak. All of them have focused on this suffering part. Bondage is because of ignorance and liberation is due to right knowledge. Nyaya philosophy emphasizes on epistemology and accepts the metaphysics of Vaisheshika. But are there any differences? Yes. Nyaya has accepted 4 pramanas. ये epistemology और metaphysics गलत उसमें लिखा गया है. जो ऊपर है, first point is metaphysics, second point is epistemology. अच्छा, वो first point ऐसा लिखा गया है कि ये इसने epistemology दिया और उसने metaphysics दिया. Okay. इन लोगों ने वो नहीं लिखा है. Put 1, 2, 3 ऐसे करके ना. So Nyaya has accepted 16 categories, whereas Vaisheshika has accepted 7 categories. हमें कितनी पढ़नी है? 7. Vaisheshika वाली. Nyaya categories, we will just see the names. We will not go in details because that has never been properly asked. Then Nyaya has accepted 4 pramanas, whereas Vaisheshika has accepted only 2 pramanas. Pramanas questions are generally asked from Nyaya. Yes, but they have not taken verbal testimony as the complete praman. According to them, they are right, but we will not take the argument of yours. उन्होंने उसके arguments नहीं लिए, उसको बेस नहीं बनाया, उन्होंने उसको गलत नहीं कहा, उसको गलत नहीं कहा, but they have not based their arguments on Vedas. हमने जब पढ़ा था तब हमें याद है, हमने 2 टाइप की क्लासिफिकेशन की थी, पार्शियली ऑर्थोडॉक्स एंड कंप्लीटली ऑर्थोडॉक्स. उसमें ये थोड़े ज्यादा वाले उधर की साइड है, पार्शियल में भी ज्यादा पार्शियली. ठीक है? Okay. Now knowledge. What is knowledge? What is knowledge? Yes, some knowledge. The knowing part. And how do you know? By some means of knowledge. There must be some means of knowledge. And what are the four means? What are the various means of knowledge? Praman. 4 type के प्रमाण ही से तो हमें जानते हैं. And what is the 2 kinds of knowledge? Valid and invalid. So one is prama. Valid knowledge in Hindi is known as prama, and invalid is known as aprama. Simple. In prama, there are how to know, how to validly know something? Pratyaksh, Anuman, Shabd and Upman. 4 pramans. And what are the various kinds of aprama or invalid knowledge? Smriti, Sanshay, Viparyay or Tark. Smriti means memory. Why is memory aprama? पूरी तरह से याद नहीं रहता. Whatever has been, what has happened in the past, even though we try to remember it completely, something is lost and something is changed also in our memories. Like if you were badly embarrassed, after some years, it will be less bad because your memory will alter the unpleasant parts. And the pleasant parts, like when you were in school, were you enjoying that much? Now you feel that you enjoyed too much in school. When you were in school, you were always, पता नहीं कब खत्म होगा स्कूल. अब स्कूल खत्म होगा तो I will go to college and then I will do masti and this and that, and then you go to college and then you start talking about, oh, no, the school was the best time we ever had. And the moment you go to college, you are like, I just want to prepare for civil services. When will my preparation start? When will I, enter the real game? And the moment you enter, you feel like, college was such a good time. And the moment you become officer, you will immensely miss the preparation days. You talk to any officer and they will be there, यार असली मजे तो तब करे थे जब तैयारी कर रहे थे. Then we did this, that. They will always have a story about it. It's because our memory alters things. Therefore, can you trust your memory? Firstly, it will not remember 100% accurately. Secondly, there is changes that you do according to the convenience of your pride and ego. And third, sometimes memory gets mixed. Mixing हो जाती है. 2 बार गए थे नानी के यहाँ पे. एक बार खेत में आग लगाई थी, एक बार भैंसे खोल दी थी, तो अब वो मिक्स सा हो गया. कुछ होता है. Sometimes memories get mixed. Therefore, can memory be said to be a valid knowledge? No. Therefore, it is a invalid knowledge. Second is doubt. What is doubt? Whether it is X or whether it is Y. So you are standing at a distance and you are, seeing something white, something moving, and you feel like ये आदमी है या cow है, पता नहीं चल रहा. Something is white. हाँ, अच्छा थोड़ा ज्यादा डाइवर्स हो गया क्या? चलो. Whether it is a pillar or a tall man. ठीक है, ये भी ज्यादा है. अरे नहीं, इतना तो चलता. So whether it is a man who's walking or just a white, flag which is moving. So from the distance, you are not able to exactly confirm. You are not able to say nahi A hai. You are not able to say B hai. And that indecision, it cannot be the valid knowledge. Therefore, it is Invalid knowledge, doubt. Third one is error, विपर्याय. विपर्याय तो we all know, अब तक पता चल गया होगा. विपर्याय means error. Once you were going in the forest, there was dark night. Something slithered on your leg. You thought it was, but it was. The knowledge of snake in rope is known as viparyay or error. Simple. हर जगह यही है. Example भी यही है. Snake and rope. Fourth is tark. Tark means hypothetical reason. So if you know something, बसंती तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? तो अब ये जो लाइन जो बोली गई, is it a valid knowledge? मतलब इसका कोई valid knowledge मिलेगी इससे? क्योंकि जो पता है वही हम पूछ रहे हैं. उसी तरीके से हमने we read about that inference statement. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. If someone talks about things like, if there is no smoke, there will be no fire. पता है ना ये बात तो, ऊपर प्रूव करिए अभी. And if one starts talking in these terms, is it valid knowledge? It is not valid, because you are just giving a statement on the basis of some other statement. It's not knowledge. Can it be based on perception? Is it based on perception? No. Is it just based on inference? No. It is based on, what do you say, verbal testimony. कोई कह के मर गया कि एक स्टेटमेंट से दूसरे स्टेटमेंट को अगर आप करोगे तो कोई वैलिड स्टेटमेंट निकलेगी? नहीं. That is why they have not even accepted tark or hypothetical reasoning, not logical reasoning. Hypothetical reasoning have been accepted as invalid knowledge. Simple. And when we talk about the process of knowledge, you see, there is pramata. Pramata means knower. You are the knower, so you are pramata. Knowable, table. Table is the प्रमेय. ये R नहीं है, Y है. प्रमेय. प्रमेय मतलब knowable or object. If knower and knowable come in contact through sense organ, or object subject come in contact, what arises? Through the means of praman, they get prama. That is valid knowledge. So 4 P's are there. What is object called? Prameya. What is knower called? Pramata. What are the means used? Praman. What do we get? Prama. If it is valid knowledge. ठीक है? 4 terms clear? So these terms are because you might read some other texts. So your terminology should be very clear. In the chart also, see the diagram. ये जो this is a pot, ये प्रमाण हो गया ना, प्रमा हो गया basically. चाहो तो लिख लो, ये mention नहीं है. This is a pot, the statement, the knowledge that is got, the knowledge that man has got, that is prama. उस पे हम नहीं जाएंगे, because this whole knowledge thing, it is very complex. In Western philosophy, each philosopher will discuss it very differently. Locke will say it is representative realism. Berkeley will say presentative realism. So in Indian philosophy we will also see. जब हम ये सारा कुछ कर लेंगे ना, at the end we have two types of topic. One is pramanyavad. Pramanyavad is validity and invalidity of knowledge, and second is theory of error. How does error appear? In these two, only this thing that you are saying, whether it is an inference, whether it is direct, or whether it is what, that will be discussed. We will do it then, because each philosophy has taken this whole thing in a very different manner. Buddhism will say nominal. We will do. After we will do some part of it, we will do in Vaisheshika, and most of it we will complete at the end. Okay. Okay. So for perception, what are the basic requirements? Ma'am, tark we can say it's vyapti. No. Absolutely not, Pari. है ना? Whenever I will say vyapti, I will tell you what is vyapti. है ना? Is tark invalid inference? We are just saying that it is invalid knowledge. Of course, tark must be based on inference or maybe verbal testimony. We don't know. है ना? Both of them can be used, but it is invalid. नीचे करना. तर्क is an कर्त तर्क वाला तर्क. It's written hypothetical. There as we argue reason based on our interpretation. It is what I understood. Hypothetical reasoning is that you are doing argumentation hypothetically. Whether if there will be, so you know, somebody said, I will grow sugar canes, and after I will grow sugar canes, I will cut them off and buy a new house. So the neighbor comes and start beating the man. Why are you beating me? You will make house on my land. So they have started fighting. So why are they fighting? On what reasons are they? On what grounds are they fighting? Hypothetical grounds. ना उसने खेत में गन्ने उगाए, ना वो कटे, ना वो बिके, ना ही वो घर बना. But even before that, they have started fighting. So this is hypothetical reasoning. अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ, ऐसा हो गया तो invalid knowledge है. ये सब ऐसा नहीं तो ऐसा हो गया और ऐसा नहीं तो ऐसा हो गया. So in that sense, it is taken as tark. Tark means argument. Tark means उसका counter करना किसी चीज का. That is tark. One tark we have read this, and it is in the sense of hypothetical reasoning. There will be another tark we will read in Nyaya itself when we will read Vyapti. Fine? Okay. So perception. Perception is again based on some relationship. Object comes in contact with what? Sense organs. Sense organs are external sense organs. Then these external sense organs come in contact with internal sense organ. That is man. And man comes in contact with self. Self or soul. Consciousness is the accidental quality of this soul. Not essential quality, but accidental quality. When the soul gets attached to all this, it becomes conscious. जब इस पूरी इक्वेशन में आएगी तब वो कॉन्शियस हो गई है, और इक्वेशन से बाहर कर देंगे तो. So अगर क्वेश्चन बाय चांस आ जाए, what are the essential conditions of perception? Number one is object. There must be a subject. Then there must be some contact. There must be a contact, or some kind of praman or means is used. And after a person attempts this praman or gets this praman, what is created in this mind? Prama. What are the other essential conditions? that object should come in contact with sense organ with the contact of मन, and मन should come in contact of soul. कहीं पर भी connection टूटा तो knowledge create होगी क्या? Perception create नहीं. Okay. Now come to perception. Perception according to Nyaya are divided into two classifications. First is stages of perception and second is sense object contact. पहले हम समझेंगे stages of perception. There are two stages of perception. Perception मतलब देखना, जानना. First is निर्विकल्प and second is हम ए क्यों लगाते हैं? रामा, राम क्यों नहीं लिख देते? So when you write Ram, in English you write जी. तो ये है र प्लस अ प्लस म प्लस अ, ये आ है. ठीक है? रा म. हाँ. So with this is R. R हलंत is R. ये बड़ा वाला आ है तो हमने ए लिखा और उसके ऊपर एक लाइन लगाई. Why is this line? To denote that it is not a, it is a. Then म, but is it म मतलब ये अ है या आ है? अ. Therefore we will put only. Can you understand this? How will you write Sita? Like this? हाँ, what will you do? सीता कैसे लिखते हैं? छोटी मात्रा होती है बड़ी? बड़ी? पक्का? ऐसे? अच्छा, तो सीता कैसे लिखेंगे? ठीक है? ओके. तो ये हमारे सब जगह चलेगा. आप समझ में आ रहा है? So when do we, but will you pronounce it Rama? Ram. Try few words writing. अपना नाम लिख के देखो. अ आई तो सीख रहे हैं आज हम. We are not doing complete transliteration, just one at a time. Fine? No, Harshita, not language classes. When we write Sanskrit in English, these are the certain rules that we follow. है ना? This is transliteration. Okay, fine. Coming back. So how many kinds of stages of perception are there? Two. First is nirvikalp and second is savikalp. Nirvikalp is the raw sensation that we get. So जब आप किसी चीज को देखते हैं, be very focused because for this you will have to decode your own perception. So when you see something, the first thing that you notice is that there is something. You don't know what it is. You don't give it a name. You have not organized it into a complete knowledge. You just see there is something. This stage is nirvikalp. Here the sensations are not organized, but you have received something. Like you are going very fast. You see something that is white square and moving, but you don't know what exactly it is. And then just in a split second, nanosecond, within that nanosecond, your raw feed is organized by your mind. It is organized completely, and you know that is a flag on a post. So the second stage after nirvikalp is savikalp perception. So is perception a one stage thing? It is a two stage thing. First is the knowledge that there is something, basic sensations you have received, but your mind has still not organized them. Immediately, are they separable? No. You cannot separate nirvikalp from savikalp, but yet still they are different. So immediately when you see there is something, your mind organizes it properly. अरे ये तो वही है जो कल मिला था. जैसे आपने देखा किसी आदमी को, पहले सिर्फ वो आदमी दिखा, चेहरा दिखा, सेंसेशन, फिर दिमाग ने इसको तो वहां देखा था, ये तो वही आदमी है. दिस इज स्टेबल. सो जैसे आप एंटर करे, for a split second you just got a raw feed, and this raw feed is nirvikalp. You see something white, and you see people sitting, and immediately your brain starts organizing those raw feed, those sensations, and say, acha, this is a classroom of philosophy where this is the table, all else are students sitting on respective chairs. Immediately. So there is this first step, nirvikalp, and immediately, without any separation, without any lag, a person enters in savikalp, where the mind organizes the knowledge. It is this. There is something. It is this. So there is something की knowledge neutral है. Russian भी आया तब भी उसे there is this दिख रहा है. अंदर Russian आया, Japanese आया, American आया और Indian आया, है ना? 4 nationality people enter from the gate. Nirvikalp is same for all. This is something white in the center. But savikalp will be according to the experience, past experience they have had. They will organize according to those categories. So in savikalp, so Indian will come, अरे सफेद मेज रखी है. American will come, white table. Russian will say hasta la basta, मुझे नहीं पता. और Japanese will say yes भाई. क्या था हन सिंह पुंसू, यही. So idea is that, and maybe they don't consider it a table even. They might consider it something else. हो सकता है वो बैठने के लिए यूज करते हो. रशियंस के लिए तो ये चेयर जैसी ही है, इतने लंबे लंबे होते हैं, है ना? So we don't. So though that savikalp is different, but nirvikalp is very neutral. Do you understand this? Simple. Are these two stages separable? No. According to Nyaya, they are not separate. We can understand them separately, but practically they are not separate. It is not, you cannot do, I will have only nirvikalp, है ना? I will not enter into, so you cannot do that. It's a very natural process. Like sometimes when you are bathing and you are in a hurry, this is the example they have given. बहुत जल्दी में हो आप, है ना? You just go in the bathroom, you bath and you run, and after some time you realize बहुत ठंडा पानी था यार. that the water was really chilled. But at the time when you were bathing, you didn't realize, even though you received the raw feed, you received that thandaness or the coldness, but your mind had not processed it, and you realize it later on. Similarly, when you enter a theater, you are not able to see anything, but after some time your eyes accommodate and you are able to see people. So it's like the first raw feed is nirvikal, and after you start processing it is savikal. समझ में आया? Okay. Come to the page. We will start from knowledge. Knowledge, Gyan, cognition, buddhi, all means same, is defined as consciousness or anubhav, full stop. Knowledge may be valid or invalid. Knowledge can be both valid as well as invalid. गलत भी knowledge ही होती है, लेकिन गलत knowledge होती है. So prama and aprama. Prama is a valid knowledge which is right apprehension of an object. In simple terms, to know object as it is. To know object as it is. जैसी है वैसी ही उसे जानना is right knowledge. To know things as it is. To know table as table. To know anything as anything. वही आपको उसी फॉर्म में आपको पता होनी चाहिए. Not like error or viparyaya, where you know snake in a rope. क्या रोप में स्नेक होता है? नहीं, पर हमने गलत परसीव कर लिया, हमने गलत नॉलेज ले ली. That is why it is aprama. Okay, full stop. Nyaya accepts theory of correspondence, which means knowledge in order to not fail, in order to be valid. इतने बड़े ब्लंडर्स पता नहीं कैसे कर पाते हैं लोग. In order to be valid, it must correspond to reality. Knowledge सही कब होगी? जब वो reality से correspond करेगी. If knowledge correspond to the reality, only then it is valid. If the image of apple in my mind is same as the real apple, only then my knowledge is valid. This is the correspondence theory. I know apple as it is. Simple. And there are 4 means: pratyaksh, anuman, shabd and upaman. ये हम कर चुके हैं, सब बता चुकी हूं मैं. We are just reading the notes, right? Aprama is of 4 kinds. Just read it. Quickly read it. Graj, ma'am, Western philosophy test result. I will ask the team and tell you. So can we say Savikalp is inferred knowledge? Organized knowledge. What is the process of knowledge? ठीक है? What is the process of knowledge? Number 1, correspondence. I have told you. We have discussed. Read the first point. Second point, that generating conditions must be sound and proper. This means the conditions should be valid. अगर color blind है व्यक्ति, So will that person see, if the person is colorblind for red, will they be able to see apple as apple? Will they see the apple as red? No. They will see it as gray maybe. But is the apple gray? No, it is red. So the proper condition should be proper. And conditions means all kinds of conditions, all the auxiliary and necessary conditions. So eyes should be proper if you want to see something as something. And the lighting should also be proper. If I put, if I ask you what is the color of walls, it is white. But if I put pink lights here, then if I ask you what is the color of wall, you will perceive it as pink, but it is actually white. So you are not perceiving thing as properly because your means were not correct. Either eyes were not correct or the auxiliary condition is not correct. Read the second line, second point. Fine. Third, knowledge should lead to successful activity. Successful activity means, so if you say that there is fire, then it must have light, it must give light. क्या ऐसी आग हो सकती है जिसमें से लाइट ही ना निकले? मॉडर्न साइंस की बात मत करना. Can there be traditional normal fire if it does not emit light? It will not happen, na? All the fires will emit light. This means this is a certain activity which is very much linked to the presence of fire. So knowledge, how do you know there is fire? Because you also see light. You also see heat. कैसे पता चलता है आग लगी है? धुएं से, धुआं नहीं निकल रहा अगर तो, या तो लाइट रोशनी दिखती है या फिर हीट लगती है. So isn't it a successful activity? There is some kind of activity that is from that knowledge. So the moment you will see light, you will say आग लग गई, भागो. अभी तक आपने आग देखी नहीं है, but you just saw कि कमरे में कहीं तो कुछ ऐसे लाइट सी, आग सी ऐसे ऐसे मतलब लाइट फ्लिकर कर रही है, तो आप मान गए आग लगी होगी ना. तो नॉलेज से तुरंत एक्टिविटी आती है, कोई भी नॉलेज, अकॉर्डिंग टू न्याय फिलोसफी. This thing will have different connotation and different philosophy. Then truth and falsity. जो प्रमाण्यवाद मैंने बताया ये वो है, लेकिन हम इसे कब करेंगे? आखिरी में, because it is a separate topic. प्रमाण्यवाद and अप्रमाण्यवाद है ना, it is a separate topic. Right now you just read it. No, you have to do nothing. Fifth is the contact theory, that there should be this proper contact to have knowledge of or knowledge through perception. So what we have studied? Prama and aprama. In prama, we started with the process of knowledge. What are the various conditions that must be fulfilled to achieve knowledge? And now we are entering in the definition of perception. Yes, beta, all these are also valid for other smell, touch, taste, etc. But it is talked by Nyaya in the sense of visual mostly. That is why we are doing it visual, because it's easier to understand. Definition of perception. So, firstly, Gautam Rishi gave a definition, but that definition was having certain problems. बहुत कोशिश करी न्याय devotees ने to make peace with the definition given by Gautam Rishi, but they could not. Therefore, they changed the definition. And this is also a question asked in UPSC. What was the problem achieved or felt what was wrong with the earlier definition, and why was the second definition given. So the first definition of Gautam Rishi is, according to Gautam Rishi, perception is non-errorness, not errorless, non-errorness. Non-errorness. या फिर एररलेस, बेसिकली या तो नॉन हटा दो या लेस हटा दो. यू नो ना, नेगेटिव नेगेटिव बिकम्स पॉजिटिव. हाँ, तो ये दो नेगेटिव हो गए तो ये तो एरर हो जाएगा ना, तो इसीलिए इसको ठीक करना. इट्स करेक्ट मैम इन आवर नोट्स. इन योर नोट्स इट्स करेक्ट. अच्छा, ओके. सो ऑनलाइन पीपल आर एट बेनिफिट देन. क्या है नीचे नीचे दिखाना कुछ तो. अब महाभारत महाभारत बोल रहे हैं बच्चे. A blowing instrument might have seen in war like महाभारत. कूंच, कूंच is शंख. शंख नहीं पता आप लोगों को? All of you know शंख? Yes. Okay. जो समुद्र से मिलता है, ऐसी शेप का होता है ना? Good and good drawing. Okay. So perception is non-erroneous cognition, which is produced by the intercourse of sense organ with object, which is not associated with any name, your card do, any name, and that which is well defined. And that which is well defined. तो परसेप्शन अकॉर्डिंग टू गौतम ऋषि क्या है? नॉन एररनेस. गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए, बिना एरर की नॉलेज, कॉग्निशन. विदाउट एरर कॉग्निशन, which is produced by how it should be produced? Intercourse of sense organ with object. So object and sense organ must come in contact, which is not associated with any name. So initially it is not associated with any name. जैसे आप सेंस ऑर्गन ने कुछ देखा, क्या एसोसिएट हो जाता है नेम? नहीं. बट आफ्टर सम टाइम यू गिव इट अ प्रॉपर नेम विद वेल डेफिनेशन. कहाँ पे लाई करता है? लाइक supposedly you first immediately saw something, some man, but after just few nanoseconds you realize, अरे ये तो मेरे बचपन का दोस्त है. You know, this boy is my old friend. We were together in 5th B section of XX school. So immediately your mind has well defined that person, not just by name, but also by where you went, where you were together. The whole classification was done, well defined. So when Gautam Rishi is talking by not associated with any name, isn't it nirvikalp? Nirvikalp. And the moment he say well defined, isn't it cervical? Cervical knowledge. Here they are talking about the 2 steps also. It is good in this sense, but problem with this thing is, क्या sense organ contact or object contact व्याप्ति के लिए भी जरूरी है? Because vyapti is formed on perception. Vyapti is also formed on perception. You also need to know smoke. Smoke के लिए भी तो वो चाहिए sense object contact. वहां हो रहा है. यानी कि अगर हम बात करें तो क्या ये प्रॉपरली एक्सप्लेन कर पा रहा है सिर्फ परसेप्शन को? उसको भी. और इसी तरीके से इसको वैसे हम अभी डिटेल में दोबारा भी करेंगे, लेकिन इसी तरह से जो ये डेफिनेशन है, ये बहुत सारी चीजों को कवर कर लेती है और बहुत सारी चीजों को एलिमिनेट कर देती है. Idea is it is not able to define things properly. It is not able to restrict itself to only perception. और ये बात हमें कब समझ में आएगी? जब हम इसका क्लासिफिकेशन देखेंगे. Because we also know and we have to understand extraordinary perception to understand this point. इस पॉइंट को हम तब समझ पाएंगे जब हम एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी परसेप्शन को भी कर लेंगे. तो अभी हम इस पे वापस आएंगे, है ना. जस्ट मार्क इट विद पेंसिल के हम इस पे दोबारा आएंगे. पहले हम एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी परसेप्शन को पढ़ लें, उसके बाद. तब तक क्लासिफिकेशन देखो. क्लासिफिकेशन पढ़ लो एक बार. निर्विकल्प समझ में आ गया? So this is where Buddhism, Advaita Vedanta and Nyaya will have different conception. जब हम universals पढ़ेंगे ना, तब we will understand it that what is nominalism, what is realism and what is conceptualism. These are the three concepts that we will study properly. So in nutshell, अगर मैं अभी बहुत पर छोड़ो, अभी छोटे में मत पढ़ो, लंबे में ही प्रॉपर डिटेल में करेंगे हम इस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ यूनिवर्सल एंड नेमिंग. समटाइम्स यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड निर्विकल्प को कहाँ पे हम लोग पुट इन करेंगे एज अ यूनिवर्सल और नॉट, वी विल अंडरस्टैंड देयर. ठीक है. Well defined is not related to inference. That is the steps he is talking about. Nirvikalp and Savikalp. हाँ वही, इसको टू वाइड और टू नैरो है ना, लेकिन आपको नैरो तब समझ में आएगा जैसे हम एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी परसेप्शन पढ़ेंगे. क्योंकि अगर मैं आपको अभी वाइड समझा भी दूं तो नैरो नहीं समझा पाएंगे, क्योंकि उसके लिए हमें क्या पता होना चाहिए? क्लासिफिकेशन. तो पहले हम इस वाले को करेंगे. वी विल कम बैक टू इट, डोंट वरी. प्रॉपरली वी विल कम बैक टू इट, बट वी विल डू इट वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी परसेप्शन. तभी इस पॉइंट को हम समझ पाएंगे अच्छे से. ठीक है ना. जस्ट वेट फॉर इट. दैट इज व्हाई आई हैव मेड यू मार्क इट. नाउ यू नो द कंपैरिजन और द क्लासिफिकेशन. Nirvikalp and Savikalp. Just read this comparison. Buddhism has accepted only the Nirvikalp perception. सिर्फ उन्होंने क्या एक्सेप्ट किया है? निर्विकल्प. सर्विकल्प क्यों नहीं एक्सेप्ट किया? ये भी नॉमिनलिज्म कॉन्सेप्चुअलिज्म का पार्ट है, ये भी वहीं पर ही आएगा, लेकिन फिर भी क्यों एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया होगा? क्षणिकवाद. You can know thing only as for a moment, and in that moment you can only have nirvikalp perception. All others are inferences. All other knowledge is mere inference. It's not perception, according to Buddhism. According to Advaita Vedanta, nirvikalp is the knowledge of pure being, while savikalp is the knowledge of appearance. According to Advaita Vedanta, only the initial knowledge is true. The moment we start thinking, we put our labels on it. हम उसको labeling कर देते हैं, and it is just appearance. मिथ्या. निर्विकल्प में हमें सबसे पहले सही चीज दिखाई देती है, But then then our mind starts processing it. And the mistake happens only in the processing. Like when you were going in that forest, something slithered on your leg. Slithering can be done by anything. Slithering can also be done by rope. So the slithering part, till the time you said something is slithering, something is slithering. You have not given it a name. You have not well defined it. Something is slithering. यहाँ तक तो सत्य बात थी. It is true. But then your mind starts processing it. Slithering हो रहा है, रात है, अंधेरा है, and you have seen the movie. कौन सी मूवी है नाग पे? नागमणि टाइप मूवी. You have seen Nagin movie. Huh? So immediately your mind processes it as snake. But is there a snake? No. Snake is a mere appearance. It's a mere appearance. So Advait Vedanta then attach it with the reality is only Brahm, but it is only that our processing which creates the Jagat, or it is only because of the Maya that it creates Jagat. तो ये इस निर्विकल्प वाली परसेप्शन को हायर आइडिया से जोड़ देते. ठीक है. एंड न्याय कॉन्सेप्शन इज सिमिलर टू कांट्स थ्योरी ऑफ परसेप्ट्स एंड कॉन्सेप्ट्स. जिन्होंने कांट पढ़ रखा है they will understand it. In Kant also there was a level of sensibility and then there was a level of understanding. Here also there is a level of sensibility, sensation, pure sensation, and the level of organization, understanding and जिन्होंने Kant नहीं पढ़ा, no worries. When you will study Kant, you will have the reference of Nyaya. There we will discuss it in the terms of Nirvikalpa and Savikalpa. Right? But there were certain lacunas in Kant's theory because Kant has made it into two particular levels. Proper उसने silos बना दिए. ये level of sensibility और ये level of understanding. At this level we have sensation, and at this level we process the information. We create knowledge. But is there proper silos or proper compartmentalization done by Nyaya? No. Nyaya has not done compartmentalization. According to Nyaya, naturally from Nirvikalp to Savikalp knowledge, there is no break. It's not like knowledge first enters the Nirvikalp and then after some time it enters this. No. Continuously. Can you break this in between? No. It's a complete system. But Kant has created staircases. पहले sensibility आएगी, फिर वो जो sensed spaced and time data है, sensation है, spaced and time sensations will be passed through the level of category. So it is a stair that Kant has created, and therefore when we criticize Kant, we say it is a staircase fallacy. Staircase fallacy means that he has created a staircase out of those levels. But there are no such problems in Nyaya philosophy. This means the concept of perception is much better for Nyaya than Kant. Kant से बहुत अच्छा concept किसने दिया है? Nyaya. By any chance, if the question is on perception alone, you must write this comparison. If the question is on Nirvikalp and Savikalp, you always must write this comparison, because हमारा concept Western concept से, तो इसकी बात examiner भी खुश हो जाता. Simple. हाँ? Okay. क्या? It's more like Kant, that there are certain categories in our mind and the sensations pass through it. It's not inferenced directly. Of course, certain schools will call it inference. Certain schools will call. So why did this inference thing not come in Kant? हाँ अब आप लोग नहीं जानते, इनको पूछ रही हूँ मैं यार. Different way of seeing it. There it was not a talk of inference or all these things. It was because the categories are such that after this it must get passed through certain categories. Similarly here also. So Sir Vikalp is processing and organizing your raw sensations into something tangible as a knowledge. Only when your raw sensations are organized, like white तो कुछ भी हो सकता है, round कुछ भी हो सकता है, and only when you see white, round, and in the context of a field and one person standing with a bat, when you see this, then you realize कि white क्या होगा, egg होगा क्या, क्या होगी, ball, वो ball ही होगी ना, egg तो नहीं हो सकता वहां पे. और अगर if a person is sitting on a plate of breakfast and there is a plate and there is something white and round kept, will you understand it as egg or ball? You understand this? It is because when you see this white and round something, immediately your sensation, raw sensation kya thi sirf white and round, but your mind organizes it into a proper knowledge. So immediately the white and round thing you see is nirvikal. When your brain organizes it according to the past knowledge, then it becomes cervical. Like a young baby who has never seen a ball or an egg, or rather who has never seen an egg, but already always seen a ball. उसको क्या लग सकता है? उसको लग सकता है ना प्लेट पे बॉल रखी है, because the organizing capability is still being learned. वो धीरे धीरे बन रही है ना? तो लेकिन एक बार बन गई उसके बाद it's a very natural process. Nirvikalp, cervical, prama. Nirvikalp, raw feed, organized, cervical, and then prama. Prama means valid knowledge. And now this nirvikalp and cervical is found in perception. How many kinds of perception are there? Matlab stages of perception is nirvikal, cervical. How many kinds of perception are there? 5 external perceptions. अरे 5 तरीके की ज्ञान वो इंद्रियां होती हैं. 5 sense organs through which we perceive 5 sensations. What are they? Touch and smell. Okay, these are the 5 and one internal man. Your man also perceives your cyclical states. Today I am not feeling good. Today I want to do this. Today I want to do that. So your what do you say, man also perceives your cyclical states. Your conscious states, it is perceived by your man. So it also perceives. And third part or third type of perception is recognition, where you match your sensation with the past memory of something. ये वही लड़का है जो मेरे साथ क्लास 5th में था. So you perceive something, and from your memory itself you bring back the past perception and match it. ये वही है. This is recognition. So how many types of perception do we have? Types, not stages. What are they? 5 external, 1 internal, and 1 recognition. ठीक है, ये भी अभी आगे आ जाएगा कहीं ना कहीं, मुझे हाँ दिख गया, ये यही है। सो लौकिक perception means ordinary perception. Ordinary perception means sense object contact must be there in usual manner. normally सुनाई देता है, मतलब जब ईयर ड्रम पे साउंड आती है, something touches, so we have the tactual perception. We see something, visual perception. Sense object contact. Sense can be 5 external senses or 1 internal sense. Sure? Now read it. Lockic perception is the ordinary perception where sense organs come in contact with object in usual manner, normally. External या फिर बाह्य लौकिक परसेप्शन, बाह्य लौकिक प्रत्यक्ष होना चाहिए, ये इंग्लिश हिंदी मिक्स कर दिया इन्होंने। बाह्य मतलब एक्सटर्नल, लौकिक मीन्स वर्ल्डली, नॉर्मल। परसेप्शन की जगह क्या होगा? प्रत्यक्ष। अब देखो कोई व्यक्ति आपको आके कहे बाह्य लौकिक प्रत्यक्ष, कितना मुश्किल टर्म लग रहा है, बट इज इट डिफिकल्ट? It is mainly, what does it mean? External sense. When external objects come in contact with external sense organ, it is of 5 types: visual, gesture, gustatory होगा ना ये? नहीं, क्या होगा ये? gustatory तो होगा, है ना? हाँ। ये लोग इतनी अंग्रेजी में मिस्टेक कैसे कर सकते हैं? And then is internal और आंतरिक लौकिक प्रत्यक्ष। आंतरिक means internal, लौकिक means normal or usual, and perception means, मतलब प्रत्यक्ष means perception. प्रत्यक्ष लिख लो यार यहाँ पे, ये इंग्लिश हिंदी मत करना एग्जाम में, दिस इज नॉट राइट, है ना? आइदर यू राइट बाह्य लौकिक प्रत्यक्ष और यू राइट एक्सटर्नल ऑर्डिनरी परसेप्शन. लौकिक मीन्स ऑर्डिनरी. सो लौकिक परसेप्शन में एक्सटर्नल इंटरनल कर लिया. थर्ड कैटेगरी इज प्रत्यबीज और रिकॉग्निशन. It is the perception qualified by the past perception. Example, this is that Devdutt. पहले भी देखा था और ये वही देवदत्त है. This is that Devdutt. So you perceive and you corroborate it or you compare it with the earlier perception. It is the knowledge gained based on the subconscious impression of the past cognition, recognition. This is lockic ordinary perception. We understand it easily, no problem. Now comes the extraordinary perception. Perception ordinary भी है और extraordinary. Extraordinary का नाम बड़ा interesting है. अलौकिक, प्रत्यक्ष, प्रमाण. अलौकिक means extraordinary, pratyaksh means perception, praman means validity of knowledge, means of knowledge basically. It is the knowledge gained when sense organs come in contact with the object in an unusual manner. Important term क्या है यहाँ पे लिखना? Unusual manner. Sense object come in contact but not in usual manner, but in unusual manner. First is सामान्य लक्षण प्रत्यक्ष. और इसका पूरा नाम पता है क्या है? जो हमें कभी भी किसी को चमत्कृत करना हो या एग्जाम में लिखना हो तो हम क्या लिखेंगे? अलौकिक, सामान्य लक्षण, प्रत्यक्ष, प्रमाण. अलौकिक मतलब एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी, सामान्य, सामान्य मीन्स यूनिवर्सल, वी विल सी व्हाट इट इज. सामान्य, सामान्य लक्षण, प्रत्यक्ष मीन्स परसेप्शन, प्रमाण मीन्स मीन्स ऑफ नॉलेज. सामान्य लक्षण में बताती हूँ क्या है. बहुत बड़ा नाम लग रहा है लेकिन इसका मतलब क्या है? just extraordinary perception of universal. Cowness का concept पढ़ा था हमने. We know the concept of cow and cowness. So cow is a particular, cowness is a universal. So cowness is this class character. Now, while you perceive the cow directly, you perceive the cow, sense object contact is there, everything is there, usual manner. But how do you perceive the cowness? How do you perceive cowness? Does your eyes see the cowness? Does your ear hear the cowness? No. Then how do you perceive that there is cowness in this cow or in all cows? Extraordinarily. Not normally or not ordinarily, but in unusual manner, your senses realize this odd universal in all cows. And because you know this universal, you can say, this is a cow, but this is a horse. एक जैसे से लगते हैं? नहीं ना? क्यों नहीं लगते एक जैसे से? कभी गलती से हॉर्स को काऊ कह सकते हो क्या? क्यों? Because you know this is a cow. Because it has cowness in it. And this is a horse. And it has horseness in it. You can change the color of cow. Cow can be white, black, brown, चितकबरा. चितकबरी काऊ भी तो होती है ना? मल्टी कलर, 2-3 कलर. हाँ होती है. You understand that? But still you call it a cow. So there are cows who may not have one leg, but you will still call them a cow. This means, why are you calling them a cow? Because it has cowness. But how do you perceive this cowness? According to Nyaya school, you perceive it through extraordinary perception. And this perception is known as Samanya Lakshan Pratyaksh. And according to Nyaya philosophy, Samanya Lakshan Pratyaksh or universal is very necessary to be accepted, because they will later on use this to prove Vyapti. Later on, this concept of universal will be used by Nyaya to prove Vyapti. You remember when we were doing Vyapti, class characters were discussed in Charvak, hai na? We said smokiness, wherever there will be smokiness, there will be feariness. But Charvak said, kaise pata smokiness? Perception to hua hi nahi smokiness ka. We can perceive only smoke, but not smokiness. To prove that we can also perceive that smokiness or feariness, Nyaya has accepted Samanya Lakshan Alaukik Pratyaksh Praman. Samanya Lakshan Alaukik Pratyaksh Praman. ठीक है? So पता है क्वेश्चन आएगा, why न्याय accepted अलौकिक सामान्य लक्षण अलौकिक प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण? Is it a difficult question? हाँ, जितना difficult philosophy में question, उतना easy answer. जितना easy question, वैसे not just philosophy, all the subjects, है ना? All the subjects, all the subjects ever. If the paper is difficult, you should be happy. If the paper is, if you have studied, and if the paper is easy, how many of you become really happy when you saw 2023 paper? Yes, you became happy. But is it a good thing if the paper is easy? This means it is a leveler. But if the paper is difficult, only those people will be able to perform who have worked hard. Prelims 2023. How many of you became worried about prelims after looking at that? You should become confident. बढ़िया है, बिना पढ़े कर ही नहीं सकता कोई, है ना? पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. And if you are पढ़ेफाइंग, if you are what do you say, if you can study, पढ़ो fine, then हो जाए. यानी तुक्केबाजी खत्म. You should be very happy looking at that paper. कट ऑफ कम जाएगा, कट ऑफ कम जाएगा, यानी कि हमारे नंबर तो आ ही जाएंगे. पढ़ के जाओगे ना, पढ़ना पड़ेगा फिर, है ना? ये सब फंडे किनके लिए हैं? जो पढ़ते हैं. हाँ? और सेम फंडा अप्लाइज टू मेंस आल्सो. So paper difficult, most of the people will not be able to write randomly. Only those who know it will be able to write with proper structure and format. So if the paper is easy, you should be sad. If the paper is difficult, you should be happy. अब आएगा मजा. आधे लोग तो कर ही नहीं पाएंगे. Competition eliminated. हाँ, क्या कह रहे हैं? उन्हीं बहुत लोगों की कैटेगरी को बाहर निकालने के लिए यूपीएससी एग्जाम रख रहा है. We have to reach a level where we have, in our group, in our contemporaries, we should be the ones who has read most. Simple. It is not a mark based number. It is only a comparative exam. Comparative exam means आपको बस बाकियों से ज्यादा पढ़ना है. जितने लोग पढ़ रहे हैं ना, हाँ क्या? शेर से हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. बस उससे तेज भागना है, उस दूसरे हिरन से तेज भागना है आपको, है ना? तो आपको बहुत एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी नहीं बनना, आपको बस मोर देन ऑर्डिनरी बनना है. बस a little more than ordinary, just like this extraordinary perception, a little more than ordinary. So remember, it is always like अपने आसपास वालों से तो ज्यादा ही पढ़ के रखो. उन्होंने 2 रिवीजन करे हो तो थोड़ा सा जोर मार के 3 रिवीजन कर लो, बस. सिंपल. ओके, कम बैक. सो सामान्य लक्षण प्रत्यक्ष. It is the knowledge of सामान्य or universal. सामान्य or universal is the generic property which when contained in a particular defines the particular. Example लिख लो. A cow is a cow. अच्छा लिखा हुआ है क्या? हाँ लिखा हुआ है नीचे. Even when usually we perceive the particular, example cow, but unusually we also perceive the common class character, example cowness. A cow is a cow because it has cowness in it. Because this cowness cannot be perceived ordinarily, therefore it is perceived extraordinarily. The terms genus, generic concept, samanya, general, universal, class concept all mean the same. Don't ever get confused if the question is on class concepts, if the question is on class characters. Don't feel कि class characters क्या, कुछ नहीं, universal, सामान्य, same meaning. किसके 3-4 नाम है? There are people who have 2, 3, 4 names. क्या क्या? अरे तुम्हारी मम्मी बोलती होगी लल्ला, पापा बोलते होंगे राजा बाबू, तुम्हारा खुद का नाम होगा कुछ रजत, अनुज, है ना, दोस्त भी कुछ बोलते होंगे, तुम्हारी जो वो फ्रेंड्स होते हैं, गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड, वो तुम्हें बाबू सोना, है ना. सो व्हाट इज दिस, बट ऑल रेफर टू द सेम थिंग. क्या तुम्हें लगा मुझे नहीं पता होगा ये सब? हम बूढ़े हो चुके हैं. तुम लोग जनरेशन जी हो, हम लोग पुरानी जनरेशन के लोग हैं. सो व्हाट इज दिस, सेम नेम, सेम पर्सन डिफरेंट नेम्स, सेम कॉन्सेप्ट डिफरेंट नेम्स. ओके. So why Nyayikas accept Samanya Lakshan? To explain the validity of Vyapti. Second, to explain the negative judgment of perception. Example, this is not a cow. So when you see a horse, you immediately know this is not a cow because it is not having cowness. So the negative perception is also explained, and to say that this statement, we must know the class of cows or cows. Simple. So why have Nyayikas accept Samanya Lakshan Alaukik Pratyaksh Praman? Because of these two reasons. In this, who will you use as criticizer? चार बार लिख लो यहाँ पे कोने में. If the question is on Samanya Lakshan Alaukik Pratyaksh Praman, और हर बार का सामान्य लक्षण अलौकिक प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण पूरा लिखोगे? नहीं, एग्जाम में नहीं लिखना है, नोट्स में. सामान्य लक्षण अलौकिक प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण. ठीक है. ओके. सेकेंड इज ज्ञान लक्षण. ज्ञान लक्षण, it is again a complicated knowledge through association, complicated knowledge or perception through association. Example, if a person, if I am standing at a distance and I see a red rose or I see a sandalwood, so can we say that I will say बड़ा खुशबूदार गुलाब लग रहा है ना, it's a very fragrant red rose. But can you or can anyone smell the fragrance from 30 meters? Then how does a person know it is fragrant? It is perceived unusually through association. I have seen 10 times that sandalwood is fragrant. Now I have just seen it through eyes, but I am making a statement which should be made only by another sense organ, that is smell. I am saying it is a very fragrant sandalwood, but can I sense the fragrance through my eyes? No, it can only be sensed through nose, but I have not smelt it. Then how do I know that that sandalwood tree is fragrant? Because of association. I have every time seen the fragrant sandalwood and felt a good smell. Sandalwood dekhi, smell. Sandalwood dekhi, smell. Now, even when I don't have that smell, still I call it a fragrant sandalwood. Based on past experience. Yes, based on past experience bhi keh sakte hain, but it is actually not past experience, it is association. When you mix two sense organs, something which cannot be seen, but we call it, जैसे गाड़ी जा रही है ना, मेरी आंखें बंद हैं और मैं बोलूं ये तो ट्रक जा रहा है, अब मैंने ट्रक देखा तो नहीं है. Only by the sound of it I am saying, because I have earlier also seen that truck makes such a sound. Like if you are if you are not seeing, but bullet goes, bullet bike goes, so you say what? Bullet जा. अब आपने देखी तो नहीं है bullet. Just by hearing the voice, you are saying के ये bullet. कुछ और भी तो हो सकता था ना, but you are saying it is a bullet because you have associated that particular sound with that visual sensation. दोनों associated हैं, and because of this association there is this knowledge which Nyaya called as Gyan Lakshan. And why they have accepted it? Because they want to explain illusion. अब आपको बहुत लोगों को कंफ्यूजन आएगा, ये राइट नॉलेज है या नहीं, ये सब हाँ, exactly. Your concerns are absolutely right, but they have introduced it with the purpose to explain illusion. There will be a theory of error and a theory of illusion we will study. They will make use of this Gyan Lakshan Alaukic Pratyaksh Praman there. Just as they have introduced the concept of Samanya Lakshan Alaukic Pratyaksh Praman for explaining Vyapti, for explaining illusion, they have accepted Gyan Lakshan Alaukic Pratyaksh Praman. Jalap and Salap. It is associated with past which cannot be proved using. Actually, it is not just about past. It is about mixing of the two senses. अच्छा देखो, past experience when we are using, that is part of aprama, memories. When we are using memories, it is aprama, right? If we are basing this perception and comparing it with the past perception itself, then it is recognition. Third, this extraordinary one, when we are mixing the perception from one sense with the other sense, sirf suna, but you are making a statement about something visual, or you have seen something, but you are making this statement about smell. It's a very far example. उन्होंने सैंडलवुड दिया, इसीलिए मैं बार बार सैंडलवुड का एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूँ, है ना, because we will have to write this example only in our exam. So if the sandalwood is very far away, you see a sandalwood tree, the person may say, what a fragrant sandalwood tree, even though they have not smelt it, they have just seen it. And you cannot smell with your eyes, you can only smell with your nose. This means only on the basis of visual perception, the statement made is of olfactory or smelled perception. क्यों, कैसे कर सकते हैं ऐसा? Because of association. We have seen many times in our past कि जब भी हम सैंडलवुड देखते हैं बड़ी अच्छी खुशबू आती है, जब भी हम सैंडलवुड देखते हैं बड़ी अच्छी, it smells very fragrant. Now you have associated the two things, and because of this association, even though you have not smelled, you are making a statement, it is very fragrant. This is Gyan Lakshan, Alaukic Pratyaksh Praman. According to Nyayas, you are not perceiving the smell ordinarily, but you are perceiving it extraordinarily because of association. And now they have introduced Gyan Lakshan only because they want to prove their theory of illusion. बड़े पर्पस से उन्होंने इसे बनाया है, ठीक है मैम. It's partially valid. What partially? It is associated with past which cannot be proved using. अच्छा तो हो गया मैम. It is partially valid. Partially valid what? No, it is partially valid का कोई सीन नहीं है. Knowledge is either valid or invalid. It's valid according to Nyaya. Gyan Lakshan Alaukic Pratyaksh Praman is a valid knowledge, even though it is used to explain illusion. Simple, है ना? And when we will see the theory of illusion, we will understand why they have kept it in this category of prama. Ma'am, in pratyabhij mixing of sense organs होगा ना? प्रत्यबीज इज जस्ट द पास्ट रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ परसेप्शन. ये वही आदमी है, ये वही टेबल है, ये वही ग्लास है जिससे मैंने अभी पिया था. दिस रिकॉग्निशन इज जस्ट प्रत्यबीज, है ना? श्योर? पक्का? ओके, just read it. It is the complicated perception through association. It is when different sensations become associated and form one integrated perception. Here an object is not directly present to a sense organ, but revived in memory through past cognition of it and is perceived through representation. Representation means, so we have a representation in our mind. Sandalwood matlab, निर्मा मतलब सर्फ, समझ रहे हो? टूथपेस्ट मतलब, लोग क्या कहते हैं जाके, कोलगेट दे दो भैया. कोलगेट इज अ ब्रांड. It is just that association that is created in our mind. Okay. Example, when we look at blooming rose from a distance, we say, I see a rose which is fragrant, but fragrance cannot be seen, can only be smelled. Fragrance is not perceived by vision, can only be perceived by nose. But in Gyan Lakshan, the visual perception of rose revives the memory of fragrance by association. You associate two sensations. Which is perceived in the past. Example, ice looks cold. Can coldness be felt with eyes? आंखों से ठंड देख सकते हो क्या? It is a tactual, but ज्यादा कभी डिस्कवरी चैनल पे वो देखे अंटार्कटिका की फोटोज, साइबेरिया की फोटोज, ठंड लगने लग जाती है ना? You start feeling cold. It is only because of Gyan Lakshan, Alaukik, Pratyaksh, Pramhan. Stone looks hard. Through Gyan Lakshan, Nyaya explains theory of illusion called as Anyatha Khyativad. We will do it at the end. चाहो तो पढ़ना चाहते हो तो पढ़ लो. वैसे भी उतने अच्छे से समझ नहीं आएगा, बट पढ़ लो. अन्यथा ख्याति. बात समझ में आया? Normally, something slithered on our foot. It would be anything. It could be rose. Rose भी तो हम rope भी तो सोच सकते थे ना? But because in our memory, we have been fed by movies and all, that slithering means immediately your mind associates this slithering with snake. But is it the right knowledge? It is only because of association. Slithering सही है. Slithering सही है. क्या गलती है? Association. Slithering is not wrong. What is wrong? Association. So mistakes सिर्फ और सिर्फ association में. We will do it in detail when we will do theory of error. हाँ, वो निर्विकल्प, निर्विकल्प ही वहां पर आएगा. सविकल्प होते ही अभी अभी जो लिखा है वो रहने दो, वहां पे डिटेल्स करेंगे. ठीक है? कौन सा? हाँ, शेल एंड सिल्वर. डोंट वरी, ये भी हम करेंगे. ये भी हम करेंगे. सिंपली शेल और सिल्वर का क्या एग्जाम्पल है, वहां पे भी दोबारा कर लेंगे. आप सड़क पे जा रहे थे, है ना, you were going on a road and in the sand you saw something shining. You thought it was silver, but it was, इसको अपनी भाषा में समझो। आप गए, एक पर्पल पिंक कलर का नोट वहां पे रखा, मतलब मिट्टी में था, आप वहीं पे खड़े हो गए पैर रख के। योर फ्रेंड इज सेइंग चल ना यार चल, तू जा मैं आता हूँ। Why did you do that? Because you thought it was a 2000 rupees note, but it was only a wrapper of boomer. Chewing gum पिंक कलर का होता है ना, मतलब I don't know if it's matching, but yes. So this problem, why did you have this illusion? What went wrong? Association. You associated anything elongated, paper like pink. You associated it with note. वो जो association है वहां problem है, पिंक देखने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना, उसी के बेसिस पे ये इल्यूजन को एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, ठीक है। ओके, लास्ट क्लास टॉपिक, दैट इज योगज। योगज इज नथिंग बट द नॉलेज ऑफ ऋषिज। सो व्हेन द ऋषिज gain intuitive knowledge or the power of intuition, they know the past, present and future. Do they see this through sense object contact normally? जब वो पास्ट में जाते हैं तब क्या पास्ट में होते हैं वो? How do they see it? How do they perceive it? Extraordinarily, through intuition. So the knowledge gained by, or the perception gained by yogis is basically in an unusual manner comes under yogaj, which is also a extraordinary perception. This yogaj is similar to the keval gyan of Jainism, bodhi of Buddhism and kaivalya of Sankhya Yoga. And अभी जब वेदांतन पढ़ेंगे तो वेदांतन समझ में आ जाएगा, है ना, अपरोक्ष अनुभूति of Vedanta. This intuitive knowledge is suprasensuous. Sense organs लगते हैं क्या इसमें? So when a rishi knows your मन की बात, your feelings or your thoughts, the direct sense object मन contact is not happening. It is unusually, unusually the contact is happening, not directly. Similarly, relation is not direct but unusual. तो important term यहाँ पे क्या है? क्या? Intuitive knowledge. Yes. Read it. कल आपको मैं क्वेश्चन दूंगी, कल सैटरडे है, अच्छा ठीक है, कल कुछ नहीं दूंगी। मंडे को आई विल गिव यू क्वेश्चन ऑन सांख्य योग एज वेल एज परसेप्शन पार्ट ऑफ न्याय. You have Saturday, Sunday, so revise. At least try 2 questions from any topic, whatever you want. 2 questions, fine. A critical survey of Indian philosophy by Chandradhar Sharma. Were you talking about this book to refer? Yes, this is a good book. Apart from that, there are 2 other books which you can refer. One is Dastan Chatterjee, one is Hiranyak. लिखने के लिए PYQs. Yoga class notes. Arey, please, who has written class notes of yoga? You have written? Handwriting is okay? Handwriting is okay? Show me. Okay. So make it a PDF and put it on group. Download from Telegram. अपलोड कर देना बेटा, है ना? आप उनको भेज देना, सिद्धार्थ का नंबर है, उनको भेज देना, वो अपलोड कर देंगे सिद्धार्थ। आप लोगों का एक टेलीग्राम का ग्रुप बनवा देते हैं फॉर योर disciplined and mentored and supervised internal informal conversation. जरूरी है? हाँ ठीक है ना? जहाँ पे आप लोग भी मैसेज कर पाएंगे, लेकिन रैंडम मैसेजेस मत करना. We just have charts of yoga. ओके हाँ वो चार्ट्स ही हैं, बाकी जो नोट्स है वो आज हम डलवा देंगे, है ना? ओके. You people have become addicted to these notes. You have stopped writing. मैं एक बात बताऊं, if you don't like someone in life, what do you do to them? If you take direct revenge, you don't give them work. You remove their habit of hard work. You do everything for them. Like so if your mothers are spoon feeding you too much, spoon feeding मतलब कपड़े आपके वो धो रही हैं, खाना वो बना रही हैं, सामान वो ला रही हैं, everything is done by them, your parents. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing? Because you have not learned to take care of yourself. And if you go out some time in life, you will it be easy for you or hard? It will be hard. This means don't become spoon-fed and overly dependent on these or anything else for that matter. It is because I am feeling bad that maybe because of my I get bored by dictating, that I have made you people as आलसी. Because you people are not writing notes now, है ना? लिख रहे हो? अपनी कॉपीज में लिखते हो? How many of you copy this in your own handwriting in your copy? चलो बहुत सारे नहीं हैं, थोड़े तो मेहनती बच्चे हैं, ठीक है. But don't become dependent on anything, anyone, or anything. People clear exam with only one thing. You must sit and read it. अभी ये notes हैं, एक बार notes पे command हो जाएगी. Next step I will tell you, read books. Next step I will give you read printed notes, and after that read books. But stage wise. One stage, first command, second stage, then command, third stage, then command. Don't go all of it together. अभी पहले दिन से ही किताब नहीं पढ़ने की ज्यादा कोशिश करनी. कर सकते हो अगर टाइम है तो. But सांख्य you revise from here and then from book, then from this, but you have not revised yoga from your class notes even. Is it a good strategy? No. Good strategy is while you are in classes, while you are studying your optional, you should be able to learn and revise your class notes sufficiently enough so that at least you can write a good answer in all your PYQs and any question that has been asked in the mains paper. First, Once you have established that, you know answer writing, you have learned your class notes, then next step is improving your class notes with the help of books, notes, X, Y, Z, whatever you find. But then also you have to stick to आंसर राइटिंग. आंसर राइटिंग बिगाड़ देते हैं बच्चे ज्यादा नोट्स बना के. यू हैव टू रिमेंबर अल्टीमेट एम इज आंसर राइटिंग. बस. फाइन. ओके. बाय बाय. लेट्स मीट ऑन मंडे. देयर इज अ शॉर्ट टेस्ट. Introduction, body conclusion, step by step, then mark to give a yes, association done by cervical, so cervical can be wrong. Peter, we will see, don't worry.